That's the moment I realized this was a hero shooter, by the way. This exact moment right there when I saw the shield go up, that's the exact moment I was like, oh, this is a hero shooter game. This is going to be a team hero shooter game again, PvP. What I got planned today is we're going to talk a little bit very briefly about the PlayStation showcase from yesterday because I have some thoughts. We're also, of course, going to watch some of the trailers from some of the games that I was actually excited about. Please, 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 we need to start telling game conferences or game showcases to stop starting with a non-gameplay trailer. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, dude. It's one of my biggest pet peeves, and I think it is the single largest signifier of what is wrong with the focus of some of the bigger AAA publishers and their subsequent developers, even though it's not really the developer stuff. Developers, you're amazing. I'm sorry that you're getting treated the way that you are, but one of my single biggest gripes of publishers is like, the extra attention on better graphics, better larger graphic cards, better this, better that, without actually addressing the gameplay of things. And so the fact that it started with a 5 to 6 minute non-gameplay trailer, I will give it the due diligence and grace of at least it did follow up with some gameplay. There have definitely been times where you will just get the non-gameplay trailer and not even see what's going on, and the only time they can really get away with that is if it's already an established IP or something that everyone's looking forward to, and this was not that. So, but still, I don't like it. We're here to play games. If you're gonna show me something, you get about 20 seconds of non-gameplay trailer, and then throw me into the middle of the game and spend the next 3 to 5 minutes doing that. If you're gonna spend that much time on it, that's my personal gripe with that. Um, which brings me into the larger thing is that there were a lot of not a lot. It's just that the two one of the two standout games, the one that they started with Concord and Marvel Rivals, which apparently is supposed to be good. People are looking forward to it from people that played the beta or whatever. Both of those legitimately just feel like Overwatch clones. We got to get that out the way. Concord, and they feel like Overwatch clones in very blatant ways. Like the Marvel Rivals, when you watch the gameplay trailer, I literally felt like I was watching an Overwatch map. Like I dead ass thought they were playing on an Overwatch map. With Concord, the thing that I actually like about Concord, and it's the one saving grace, is because the hero shooter genre has officially become like the zombification of video games. And when I say zombification, I don't mean like games became bad or like being brought back by the dead, but like everyone remembers during like the early 2010s, maybe like mid 2010s, everyone and their mother was playing a zombie video game. Whether it was Telltale's The Walking Dead, whether it was for Left 4 Dead, whether it was for Dead Island, whether it was freaking Dead Rising, you name it, zombie video game, whether it was Zomboid, Project Zomboid, zombie video games were just everywhere. And of course Resident Evil, even though that's like, in its own little place, it's still a zombie video game at the end of the day. Um, that is officially, and even though they were all in different genres, that was always like the focus. Hero shooters have that feeling to me now, where everything that's coming out is just a hero shooter in the same vein as Overwatch. Um, the one thing that I did like about the Concord thing, though, that I will give it credit for, and my partner pointed this out too, is I do like the fact that they are trying to, it seems like, do a better job of what Overwatch kind of introduced with the narrative storytelling behind its characters. That was always one of my favorite parts of Overwatch when I was still like locked into it. Whenever they do a character introduction, they would have like their very cool trailer, their origin trailer. They would even have the comics for it. And even though the Overwatch plot is not really consistent at all, like apparently like it's all over the place, and from what I've seen, it is all over the place. It seems like what they talked about with Concord, with releasing like a cinematic each week to keep developing the story of like the core crew and everything. I think that is a very cool idea and premise. I will admit that, because if they make it a good story, if they can actually pull it off, that's cool. That seems like something where you can actually get people really invested, to like get into your game for the long term. Because like say it comes out and it does like the huge fanfare of a hero shooter. People find this that they like about it. People don't find this that they don't like about it. People that don't like the hero shooter genre are not really going to be tapped in just because of the game. Honestly speaking, if you haven't played hero shooters before, I sincerely doubt you're going to start them now. But with the new narrative element, if you start hearing from your friends, dude, did you hear about the latest development in this story? I can see that being a draw if they do it well. They just gotta make sure they avoid the what I will credit people much longer in the video game industry than I have been from a professional standpoint, as the marvelization of video game dialogue, um, where it's just like, quip, quip, serious moment, undermined by a quip, like that. Like that. As long as they avoid that, I think that could be really cool. And as well as like, actual follow basic story stuff. Um, but outside of like the shooter stuff, there was a total of 3 games from the PlayStation showcase that I was really like actually excited for. You watched it. I wasn't impressed. Yeah, it seemed like the general vibe was that it just wasn't like a very great showing. I don't think it sucked per se, but it definitely was like it definitely felt very lacking. It definitely didn't leave me being like, oh my god, PlayStation's really got some bangers coming out. So the first one that I was pretty excited about when I saw it, or like fairly excited to the point where I do want to like keep my eye on it, was the one called Infinity Nikki. Um, this one caught my eye because I am a sucker for anything that looks like a platformer. It is a very cute looking game, and I think when someone said it felt like a PS2 game just remade. It's obviously not a PS2 game; it's a new game. But the fact that it felt like a PS2 game, like, that's a good start. It's called I didn't even notice it. It's called the Open World Dress Up Adventure Game. That is the description that it has on the official PlayStation YouTube channel. That sounds loud as hell. Jesus Christ.
Momo, I think I was dreaming.
It wasn't a dream. We were really transported to Mirrorland.
The path of a stylist is never easy. So, are you ready for it?
Ready.
We're ready.
Ready.
So like immediately, I'm loving the fits. I'm loving that we got some new fits. I'm loving the vibe. I'm loving how cute it is. The aesthetic. I love cute things. It's half the reason that I love the Kirby franchise so much. It's just a ball of adorableness constantly in front of your face. This does not look like a Kirby game, but the fact that it's definitely leaning into the cutesy dress up. I'm assuming maybe a little bit of character customization eventually too, unless they have very stringent rules around which outfits you got. Either way, I like it. Plus, it seems like since the game really starts with a photographer camera, with just like an actual camera thing going on, I think it's trying to lean into you be into that. I like that. Feels very gotcha. Yeah, see that's probably a good way to think about it too. And there you go, brother. That right there. That UI is the UI you see from a gacha game right there. And it's looking like it's got some platformer elements. If you know me over here, I love my platformer games. They are, if the more I think about what my favorite genre of video game is, I don't know if I have like a set one, but platformers are probably very close to the top. When I think about some of my favorite video games, like platformers are definitely up there. And like this, look at this. I love this, dude. It's adorable. Also, I love that ever since, maybe not since Super Mario Odyssey, but like this feels very much in the vein of music that they would use for Super Mario Odyssey trailers, and that is still maybe one of my favorite Switch releases, even though it's come out 7 years ago now. This also just seems very pleasant and like maybe not a low stakes game because we don't know the stakes at all yet, but it's just like, oh yeah, I can lose some time with this. Also, brother man, I literally I I had to I called my brother man a few days ago, right? And we were talking about a couple different things, right? But we inevitably ended up talking about video games too. I literally told him the glider, like the hang glider thing, that's a thing that's existed in video games before. It's not necessarily like a new thing, but I feel like ever since Breath of the Wild, it's become like video games' new double jump. Like One of the mainstays had a double jump. Every video game going forward felt like they had to have a double jump until like recently where they're like, okay, now we don't need to have a double jump. Ever since Breath of the Wild, I feel like more and more games have had a glider feature. I feel like that's been like what used to be like a thing you saw in a game every now and then feels like it's in like damn near every game that it like gets a lot of money. Tell me if you agree with that, but like that I feel like that's what's happening. Also, they are really, I didn't realize this when I first watched it, but they are really honing in on that camera part. This is making me feel like they're going to have like a point system with the camera pictures, almost like, not a Pokemon Snap thing, but like, I'm trying to think of what it would be. People love that now, use it a lot. And that's the thing, that's not a complaint. Let me make that clear. I'm not complaining about the fact that games have gliders now. I love a glide feature. And again, they've always had them, but like now that it's like becoming like the more mainstay thing, I love having just a lot of ease in traversing a video game, unless like hard traversal is part of the experience that game is going for. Like if they don't want you to just explore the map super easily, but if you're doing an open world adventure game, as this game is calling itself, you're gonna have me a little bit if you still got your glider feature. It's just a fun little thing to be able to do. Yeah, that camera is definitely being used for some point system.
Is it you who pursues infinity? Or is infinity awaiting you?
And then it throws this shit at the towards end, like after we just got all that cutie stuff. This is the Concord thing. Tell me if you guys do want to watch this, because we can. Like I said, today's pretty loose. But it's just not like stringent. I do want to just get to one of the demos that I was put onto earlier today. This one was the first one that like I actually wrote down, because I have like a whole list. I made a whole list for myself of games that I'm like, okay, this has my attention. So now moving right along, the next game that I was like, oh snap, what's this? I think it's a game that actually was already yeah. See, like we talked about Where Winds Meet before, but it got another trailer during yesterday's PlayStation Showcase. That announced trailer. What? I thought this game was already announced once. I'm pretty sure this game was already announced once, but it looked really good. Someone's like kind of speak for itself. Angel numbers 222. Look at that. Make a wish, guys. I think that's how that works. Pretty sure that's how that works. Yes, graphics are indeed eating. Open world action RPG. Definitely the wuxia world. I'm loving how the combat's looking. I really am happy that there's a game that's getting more into like Chinese mythology, like they see Asian mythology in general. That's not, because like wuxia is like Chinese verse rather than like Japanese with like the manga and stuff. Not to say that neither hasn't influenced each other. They both influenced each other, and they both like made adaptations of each other's work. But like, this is definitely a different aesthetic than usual what Sony goes for, because you know usually Sony steeps itself in Japanese culture for obvious reasons. But this is a cool little venture that they got going on here right now. There's nothing else about to say. Oh, I'm very curious to see someone, I think, because I was watching this PlayStation when Penguin Charlie was watching this on YouTube too. He was streaming watching it, and he kept calling it a Souls-like. I'm not sure this is actually a Souls-like yet, because the way that it's looking right now, this also could still be something. I think he's right. I think it's probably a Souls-like, but for some reason, I keep thinking it might also be something similar to like traditional action open world RPG. All on the same vein of like Final Fantasy 16. That's the one that's coming to mind, because that's probably one of the most recent open world action games that I played recently. am loving these like battles so far though. This is very exciting stuff. Whoever was playing this game too was getting the shit knocked out of him. No, see, like, that's cool. Flex on them. Like, see, that one has my attention. That has my attention. I also love the fact that this actually, my favorite kind of trailer, one that's gonna interweave both its non-gameplay story hint aspects along with its actual gameplay, and that did both very well here just now. So just from a like actual trailer execution standpoint, I liked it a lot. But for the game, it has my attention. This looks cool. I'm very excited to see a longer thing of it, so I can like have a better read of like, is it going to be boss after boss focus? Are we actually going to have like little enemies in between? Is it like, if it's open world, I'm assuming that there's going to be traditional smaller bosses, traditional side quest. I'm very curious to see what the story actually is at play here, because Wuxias are, I wish my friend Brian was here to talk about this, but like much grander, huge, like as you might have noticed with the giant koi fish and other things going on here, very much mystical epics. In the sense of, oh snap, we are dealing with like people that probably should be considered demigods, dealing with maybe not necessarily gods, but definitely ancient spirits with not untapped, but unparalleled power in their different respects. So this was cool. Excited for this and seeing where it's go. And then last but not least, the one that I think excited everyone the most, and that is definitely the most Nintendo game that Sony has ever made, that again immediately reminded me of Super Mario Odyssey, was the Astro Boy reveal trailer from yesterday. Now if you don't know, Astro Boy is like not a new game, or at least not a new franchise for Sony. That's, I forget what console he was introduced, or it was introduced, but well, Astro Bot, I don't know why I was saying Astro Boy, Astro Bot, but that's not a new character, not a new franchise to the PlayStation, but it's not one that I remember anyone really talking about during the PlayStation 4. And the PS5's been out for a while, but so the fact that it's, when did the PS5 come out? Like 2020, right? So it's been like 4 years and now it's coming out. Definitely a return of an IP for them. In the same general vein still of just IPs coming back, of like old familiar IPs coming back to cash in on that nostalgia money. Which, you know, we can have a completely separate conversation about that. But I was cheesing hard throughout this trailer. I'm not going to lie to you. So let me play this. What's going on, Neo City? How you doing? Just going through some of the trailers that came out from the PlayStation Showcase yesterday. Amazon killing you? Oh, did you start your Amazon job now? Oh, let me fix this. Thank you, Isaac. Why they were gym membership at this point? I can understand why you're asking that question. Like, first of all, I'm loving the different adventures. I'm loving how colorful this game is already. Like, this is giving, like, I know we call the Infinity Nikki game, like, it has hints of what reminds you of the PS2 game. This feels like in the same vein as Ratchet and Clank era game when they first came out. Very colorful, sounds a little zany. Love platformers. Exactly, like this is why I say if you put a different skin on this, you would think this is a Nintendo game. Like, dead ass, this feels like you're looking at a Nintendo game, which is probably part of the reason that I like it so much, because Nintendo just is amazing with platformers. I'm also pretty sure there is a literal Super Mario Odyssey boss that does that exact move. I don't remember which one it is, but I'm pretty sure there is. No, like, exactly, Crooked. Like, it has Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario Galaxy vibes. So it's like kind of some of the Mario franchise's best games. You got my attention. And for a PlayStation, like, that's a whole other thing. I'm also pretty sure Super Mario Odyssey villains also blow up into fireworks. I'm not saying Nintendo needs to go get their check, because Nintendo has never been afraid to go get their check. But this reeks of Super Mario Odyssey, which is again, I said it earlier, that's my favorite game the Switch has put out, probably. But like, holy hell. But this looks so fun. Like, it's probably just gonna do its own different things. Like what the hell is that? Oh, God. I'm loving that the Astro Bot is like, since it's a PlayStation property, it's referencing the other PlayStation games. Like, this is definitely a Uncharted callback right here. That's a Journey one. The fact that Journey made it on here, I love that. Papa Rappa. Literally the consoles flowing around and everything. Love that. Like, this is a game for people that are gigantic PlayStation fanboys, but still love Nintendo platformers, but don't want to admit it. It's like, oh my God, this is it for me. Because this is a self-isolating game. Like, it's a bit masturbatory, I'm not gonna lie, but it looks fun as hell. I do love the size of these bosses, though. I love that it's definitely like little guy against the world. All of the best boss fights, in my opinion, are always just when you're a little guy fighting a behemoth. And there's Kratos too. That's what I'm saying. Like, they're just hitting all the hits from PlayStation. And this was their closer, so they knew this was the game that was going to get people the most hyped. And if we can look at a few more of these people, I'm trying to see if I recognize anyone else. Hold on. I feel like, is that the dude from Jack and Dexter? I think that's from Jack and Dexter. I don't know who this is to the left, though. I don't know who that is. Like the... yeah, the yellow top here is throwing me off, so I really don't know who that's supposed to be referencing. I think this is supposed to be... The red hair is making me... This is the woman from Horizon Zero Dawn, right? What's her name? What's the girl from Horizon Zero Dawn name? Starts with the A, right? Like Altria, Atlas. I'm butchering the hell out of that. I don't know why I'm guessing when I can look this up really quickly. Hold on. Alloy. Okay, wait. I was actually much closer than I thought I was. This comes out September 6th, though, so that's actually like not far off. Which is awesome. Very excited for this. This is easily the game that I was most excited for, like bar none. And I think I've talked about it. So really, what do you guys want to do? Do you guys want to watch some of the other trailers? Because these, I showed you the 3 trailers for the games that I was like properly pumped for. All the other trailers, every other game that I saw, I was just meh. Luckily, I actually made 3 categories before the showcase. Games I'm excited for, games I'm mad about, games that made me go, what the fuck are you doing? Nothing made me go, what the fuck are you doing, thankfully. Every other game, though, I was pretty much mad about. In fact, the only other games that I probably might have put in that last category were the VR games, but that's just because I don't play the PlayStation VR, and I don't know anyone that does. So I don't really want to... You want to see those trailers? Okay, let's watch those trailers. Like I said, today's chill, guys. Today's going to be pretty chill. The one that we'll start on is the... Well, technically second in the showcase, but the first for us of the Marvel clones. Not Marvel, the Overwatch clones. I say Overwatch clones, that's being kind of dismissive though. It's just the hero shooter games, the hero shooter genre. Marvel Rivals. Hold on, I'm pissing me off already. I'm not surprised, dude. It is Amazon still at the end of the day. Which I'm glad that you have a job, that you're getting your bag. I'm never going to be against that. But it is still Amazon. I'm going to piss you off. Now, is this the one that they showed yesterday? Okay, it is. Bonus points to anyone that can name all of these Marvel characters. I think you can. There's only one of these characters that I think maybe wouldn't be considered a mainstay. But everyone else here should be recognizable, I think, to an extent. Because there's Magneto, there's Spider-Man, there's Storm. Pretty sure that's Scarlet Witch. Red Witch, Lightning, Magneto. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, Crooked. I read Red Spider and I was like, oh, he knows the specific Spider-Man this is. No, he's being a dick. We appreciate you here regardless, Crooked. You're a fake fan? You're not a fake fan. I couldn't tell you. I think that Squirrel Girl, I'm not confident about it. I'm pretty sure that's an older Magneto. I think that's Squirrel Girl. Obviously Spider-Man. I'd say obviously Storm. And I'm pretty sure that's Scarlet Witch. Okay, and then I think that's Cable. No, that's Punisher. I'm dumb. There's the literal skull thing right there. It's just kind of hiding. I remember when I watched the trailer yesterday, I couldn't tell what I was looking at, if that was Cable or Punisher, but it's definitely Punisher. God, what's her name again? I know who this is. It's one of the Guardians of the Galaxies, and so is him. I know this is like Star-Lord, but what's her name again? Mantis. Thank you, Artisan. This is Hela from Norse mythology, but specifically in this case, we're going to say just from the Thor franchise. And that's obviously Rocket Raccoon. You're not a fake fan. I don't even know everything myself there.
All realities converge here. Destiny awaits.
So I like that. That's cool. But like, dude, does this not feel like...
Stronger together.
I feel like I'm literally in the Overwatch map that has the shit in like the bonsai tree garden place. Like this literally feels like the Overwatch map. Like it's obviously not. It's laid out differently, but the aesthetic is there. The animation is the same. Like it is such. Even the UI. Like no, the UI is different. Let me not drag it too much, but it feels so much like it. Don't talk to me. That is literally, dude, I forget whose ult this is. This is Doomfist's ult. Like the Overwatch comparisons, I can't help but make. This is Doomfist's ult. With a flash of Moira's like orb throwing.
Who needs a power up? Free fire
It's a Soldier 76.
Embrace the chaos.
Insignificant acts. Healing power. I'm back, baby. 3, 2.
That is literally Reaper's ult. That is literally Reaper's ult. Reinhardt shield. Like this is literally Overwatch with the Marvel skin. and duh, you know, I gotta write that. This is Overwatch with the Marvel skin, and if that's for you, that's great. Like I'm not even necessarily calling that a. Actually, I do kind of want to call it a bad thing, but when I plan on playing this, if it's really that good, maybe. Cause like, don't get me wrong, I'm making these comparisons, but if you're someone who likes Overwatch and also likes Marvel, you're probably gonna love this. Like, this isn't even me being like mean. Like, I just can't help but make the obvious comparisons. But like, I liked Overwatch a lot. Like, I played the original Overwatch incessantly when it came out in 2016. I played it with friends. I played it on my own. Like, it was genuinely in my rotation. I love the special events that they did. I know so Overwatch 2 is still going on, but like just the way that they've treated that game and its community over like the last few years has been kind of disgusting to me. So, and I've just lost my interest. Or even when I was thinking about getting back into it, like it just didn't stick because of that. But if this just doesn't do that, and like again, it has an entire wealth of the Marvel franchise to boost it up and use for a story if it wanted to, so it can't really butcher any kind of storyline it might want to do. Like this game, while still very much not hiding its influences, legitimately has a lot going for it. Even though it is quite literally
Gonna get sticky.
someone needs to someone needs to change that line for Spider-Man. Someone needs to change that line for Spider-Man. I'm just gonna
Feel the wrath of the goddess.
I will say, I did not hone in on this the first time I watched it, but I do like how destructible the environment is looking there. I always love an environment that will change with the game. It's one of my favorite things about games that do that. Or one of my favorite little like game mechanics. Like when an environment is also getting destroyed along with the battle, like it just adds a bit to the fun of things, to like the chaos at play. Marvel Rivals, dude.
Okay, let's see how mankind has conquered.
I don't know why they did this to Galactus, by the way. It doesn't seem like something they needed to do to Galactus. And then there's a Scarlet Spider. So technically, Crooked, you were right. There is a Red Spider. I don't know. Like, I'm not gonna pay for this game. I'm gonna make that clear. If this game is not, if it's like dumb cheap or there's like a demo or a beta to play, like it'll have me. But past that, I don't know. I don't like Marvel enough anymore to really want to invest time into anything it drops. And to be fair, I was never like that when it came to Marvel games. Because even the Spider-Man games on PlayStation are like severe exceptions. like that's just because they gave it to Insomniac Studios and they were like, guys, we can put out bangers. So like, you assume this game would be free. See, like that's the thing. I'm also assuming it's free because it doesn't have a pre-order thing. And like usually if there's a game that's coming out, they're gonna at least, if it looks ready to come out, they're gonna share that there's a pre-order thing coming out. They're not really mentioning anything about pre-orders here too, so I'm gonna also assume that it might be free. We'll have to see though. We'll have to see. Yeah, I might check it out. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not interested to see how it plays. Like it might get like 1 or 2 sessions out of me, and like if I'm like all of a sudden really jazzed, or like they're just not really showing the full meat of this thing, then I'm always down to be surprised. I love being wrong if I'm just being a hater about something, because then I get to love something instead of hate it. That's never a bad thing. It's just that right now, this is again reminding me of 2 different things that I have a lot of fatigue towards. I'm very fatigued of Marvel properties, with the exception of the Spider-Man games that have been on the PS5 and the Wolverine game that they do want to release. That could be cool. But in general, a lot of the Marvel stuff has just kind of made me tired. And the hero shooter genre is again another thing that I become very tired of. So it's just, I don't know. I'm open to being wrong, but I don't know. With that in mind, we might as well also watch the other hero shooter game that came out yesterday. Not came out, that was talked about yesterday. And this is the game that they led with. This is the one that they led with. Since we're kind of already in this mood, we're going to watch the cinematic trailer that they started this with. And then we're going to watch, I think they probably have the gameplay along with it, I would think. We'll go on PlayStation's YouTube channel if we need to find it. Crater City. Rex's North Star. Rex's North Star.
Oh, jukebox.
Wasn't the plan.
It was a spontaneous, creative decision made after years of careful research.
Being really old and almost dying a bunch doesn't count as research.
Almost dying is the best way to learn how not to die. Besides, it worked, didn't it?
How much longer for the upload?
A few more minutes. Hey, start time. Try it with hot sauce. You'll like it. Trust me.
No. Do not trust him.
Whoa. Where's this coming from?
It's coming from you back on the ship saying, trust me, we're professionals. We'll stick to the plan. We can do this. And then, that. That was not the plan.
Technically, it was a plan. It just wasn't the same plan that we started with.
If we don't leave...
So minute 15 in, right? Dialogue so far is okay. Definitely leaning into the crew feeling. Still kind of like, this is just short of what I would say with the Marvel effect, and that's what I mean in I feel kind of not bad, but now every single time a game is trying to be like obviously funny, it's the first thing that comes to mind, and I hate that it's the first thing that comes to mind, because this is not doing anything egregiously bad so far. It's obviously trying to lean into like the whole quippy hush hush joke thing, but still, it really is hard not to notice.
Leave with this blue
Hey,
button.
Mar.
There's no mark against it either. You can have a crew thing. You don't need to be super serious with it either.
We will. We will.
I'll be waiting outside.
Guess not.
No one moves. We'll be taking this off your hands.
What? This?
Funny.
Yeah.
Slow them down a little for you. Meet at the rendezvous point.
Wait, what? Where's the rendezvous? I didn't catch that.
Copy that, Bill.
Shot right in the head.
Shield out!
That's the moment I realized this was a hero shooter, by the way. This exact moment right there when I saw the shield go up, that's the exact moment I was like, oh, this is a hero shooter game. This is going to be a team hero shooter game again, PvP. And it's crazy that you can call that from a cinematic nowadays. I don't know if that just says more about me having ingested so much of this type of media, or if it's just like that's how predictable it is, or a combination of both, you know? I'm not going to be ashamed of being disinvested in the video game space. I love this medium. But, dude, I remember this was the exact moment I also got upset. Not only because again, there's a little bit of a fatigue around the hero shooter genre as well, but also like, dude, this was the way that the thing started. Do not start a showcase for games with a cinematic trailer. I'll even take it a step further. I don't even like when they started with a cinematic trailer for a game that people are expecting. It's more forgivable because people are like, oh, finally confirmation of the game that I've been waiting on, like that's meeting someone's expectations. I can get that. But even then, I'm kind of like, why not just do a little bit of a cutscene or a little bit of a section from a part of the game that's a bit more cinematic, or just like a part that's not really like super high action yet, but like builds into it. That's fun. And then transition into a cinematic if you want to. If you want to do a cinematic, have the cinematic, but don't start with it. This is a 5-minute cinematic for, again, almost 5 minutes. Let me not drag it. Almost 5-minute cinematic for a showcase that was not long, dude. That's taking up a significant chunk of time.
Well played.
You are wounded.
Fine. They only got one of my legs.
How are those hands? How bad is it? You're still mad at me?
Buttocks!
Got him.
One off. This is you.
Got it.
I am developing a taste for destruction.
Now see, that's a Marvel dialogue moment. that's what I mean by Marvel dialogue. Finding a break in the action to give a little quip from robot character. Just got a little taste for destruction. If you need a reference when I say Marvel dialogue, that's what I mean. Not a term I came up with, just the one that I like to use.
This would be a very dishonorable way for us all to die.
Don't worry. Nobody's dying dishonorably. And also, we're bringing this back with us.
What's going on, Angel? How you doing tonight?
Hey, Mark. What are you doing?
We was watching some of the trailers from the PlayStation Showcase yesterday.
Perhaps we should have let go also.
One off. Do not dare.
Well, we were supposed to stick together.
If you let go, I swear I will be.
Oh, look, there they are.
See, that was the only moment in that trailer that got a giggle out of me. Because that felt very authentic for a second. It was just like, don't you fucking drop me. Don't you dare drop me. I like that.
I am glad you avoided a dishonorable death.
Almost dying is the best way to learn how not to die. Or something.
I knew this was gonna work.
This wasn't the plan.
No, it just wasn't the one we started with. All right, another satisfied customer. Goods delivered. I sent everyone their cut.
Ooh, yeah.
So do you, like, carry it around with you for emergency
Late night
bland
at work.
situations or
Gotcha,
whatever?
gotcha.
Hey, Mara. Don't joke about something like this.
Our next job is somewhere with less
We'll
scaffolding.
have no scaffolding. Zero scaffolding. I promise. We were apart for so long. I thought I'd never feel your fiery embrace again.
You sound ridiculous.
I also think there's something to be said that this might also count as Netflix young adult TV show dialogue, just partially. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. Like, the minute that you get clued into it, you can't help but notice it everywhere. Ooh, excuse me. Now, fortunately, they didn't do the most egregious thing on earth by not giving us a gameplay trailer. There is a gameplay trailer that we're about to watch, but like, I think I've said my chief concerns. Don't start a showcase with a cinematic trailer. The only time that you can even kind of get away with it is when it's an established IP, and even then, I don't like it then either. That's just a little bit makes more sense because that way you can like confirm something's coming out for people and they'll get excited about it and so on and so forth. Camera, I see you. Don't be sly. The one thing I will say though is like, I hope that this proves me wrong and that it gets significantly more interesting with this writing. Because again, this is just a trailer. I don't want to be like write something off completely just because of a trailer. I do sometimes. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not human still, but considering that this is the first game they started the showcase with, it seems like the kind of thing that they're trying to put quite a few eggs in the basket for. So I'm like, I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with this, dude. And it also, in the fact that they started with this too, and now knowing that they're gonna try and drop a new cinematic that continues or develops some kind of plot around this crew or whatever the crew or cast of characters they have for this game is, makes me feel like them starting the cinematic trailer was very intentional because they want people to like get clued into the fact that these characters and their personalities, or at least their story, is going to play a major factor in returning to this game. Now, I'm not sure if starting like this was the way to do it. In my mind, if I had done this, I'm not a fucking expert, so like, you know, take this with a grain of salt. But again, I would started with the gameplay trailer, or at least given at max a 10-15 second cinematic, and then gotten right into the gameplay trailer. And if they still felt the need to keep a long cinematic, I would have brought it cinematic after the gameplay trailer, and I would have made it a scene that was detached from gameplay you could have guessed. And the reason I say that is because, like I said, when we were watching that at exactly the 2 minute and 11 mark just now, that's the exact moment I was like, oh yeah, this moment right here. I was like, oh, this is like I immediately got reminded of games. I got in this exact moment right here. I got reminded, oh, this is the type of game this is gonna be. This is what I can expect. I spent a bunch of time thinking about the kind of game I was gonna get now instead of actually watching the trailer. That's a bit distracting, and it's making me again. This is the hero shooter genre is one that's kind of gotten a lot of fatigue around it right now. So having that be one of the first things you see in your showcase is not great. However, had you put that after gameplay trailer, as well as made it a different scene that was much more focused on the, again, character dynamics of the crew, or at least try to tell a little short story in that minute of time, like, yeah, this is a story, it is still a thing going on, but it's like, I'm not that excited after seeing this. I'm not gonna hate it or nothing crazy, that's too much. I'm not that excited yet. But let's actually watch the gameplay trailer now. The 2 minute 18 gameplay trailer. So something that's significantly shorter.
Free gunning. It's hard work, but it's our work, and we don't take it for granted. Being a free gunner means, well, you're free.
Very
Right on
odd.
target. Yeah, you better run.
Free gunners have a shot at making something of themselves. A chance to be someone.
All right.
Need a second to fix myself up.
I'm making a bunch of comparisons in my head. I'm just trying to keep them to myself this time.
And in the wilds, it's anyone's game. You won't survive on your own.
Target blinded.
Finally, to battle.
That's crazy. Backhanding someone on the battlefield is a little crazy. And see, that's it right there. That's it right there, Artisan. I'll stick with Valo. I'll stick with Overwatch. I'll stick with Apex Legends. You know, like, it's just when you already have so many games like this, maybe not so many, but when you already have many games like this that have gigantic followings and huge presences in the space already, that's not to say that you can't try and cut your own slice of the pie out. You know, you're always going to want to, if you really believe in your vision for something, never let what came before it be a deterrent from you doing it. But you should also at least have a bit of a read of what people want too. And I don't know if anyone was asking for a new hero shooter. I wasn't. No one I know was. Not millions, but several people that I watched haven't either. It just did not seem like the type of thing that someone was asking for more of. Like the person that I can imagine this being for is someone who wants to get into a hero shooter genre, but feels like the ones that exist have these entrenched communities that may not be very welcoming to newcomers, which is an extremely fair criticism. Like, it's not, I wouldn't say that's a blanket statement that you can make for all of those games, but like, you know, some of them do have a bit of a higher barrier to entry because of just the skill level of the people that have been playing it because the game's been out for forever. So I get that kind of hesitation. I will make the slight comment, though, that this type of game also attracts people that have been on those games and gotten tired of them. And so that same problem might migrate to hit this one anyway, unless they find a very nice way to balance the system out. No, yeah, I will say you guys talking about Overwatch has got me intrigued about it, but this doesn't have any interest of mine peaked. Yeah. Again, it's like, it's just another game that, like, if I know I just hit play, but now I'm gonna pause it again. It's another thing where it's like the fact that I have to pay money for this one too. Like I said, pre-order before, so this one's actually one that you have to buy. If there is, I think the thing says that there's a beta and early access to play. So if that's free, I might check it out if I really like it. knows, but it needs to be significantly different.
We risk our lives
And
every
nothing about
day
this seems
to do the job.
significantly different
I'll
yet,
clear
except
the way.
again for that story stuff that they were talking
Time
about.
to show them the big guns. That's me.
This crew will go anywhere. Take any job. Face any
That was a cool little story. I'll give them that.
We're the free gunner crew of the North Star. And together, we're going to make our mark on this galaxy.
Oh, stop.
The crew is gathering. Would you like to join us for game night?
Like, see, you can tell that they really want people to care about the crew element of this. You can tell that they really want them to get invested into how these characters actually like talk, discuss, and play, and like, you know, hang out outside of the battle moments and just their interactions and relationships to each other. And so it also makes me really interested in if they're going to do the thing where all of the cutscenes that they were talking about with this game are going to be gate kept behind buying the game. Which, if that's what they think will be the biggest appeal, that makes sense to me to an extent. But if those same things do end up on YouTube, I can't imagine this game gaining a following based off of that. That may migrate over to the actual game. Or you just have a bunch of people that increases their views on YouTube. And that's also not a terrible thing either. for them. Yeah, dude, I'm whatever to this. I'm whatever. 5v5 PvP hero shooter. It's, you know, it's gonna be okay. I'm sure it's not gonna be like egregiously bad or anything. So like it's not like I'm not gonna like go at it from that angle, but it is probably not gonna do anything super different. And I will say, unfortunately, even though it's just kind of getting in on it, the Marvel Rivals game seems like the more interesting game. Really does. And I'm not even really excited for that. So, I don't know. Again, I love being surprised. I love being wrong. If both of these games come out and I'm just like, everyone and their mother is talking about how good these games are, and I mean like the people actually playing them, not like the outlets that are basically just PR firms at this point for some of them. I'll be happy to be different, but Overwatch, man. I mean, yeah, I can understand why Overwatch fans would be mad about the Marvel game. It literally looks like Overwatch with the Marvel skin on it. That. I'm not being hyperbolic when I say that, or exaggerating when I say that. Like that literally looks like Overwatch with the Marvel skin on top of it. And considering the way that gameplay trailer looked, where so many of the abilities of the Marvel heroes were beat for beat the Overwatch skill sets and gameplay mechanics, like, I will never call game development lazy, because it is a very rigorous job that requires a lot. And that's not to say that every single game that comes out is like 5-star, amazing, deserves its flowers. Like any medium, hard work doesn't necessarily translate to a good product. That's also being respectful of an artist and of their work, being able to admit that sometimes they do produce bad things. With that being said, though, for someone that may not have that attitude, I can foresee someone seeing that Marvel's Rivals trailer and feeling like it's a little lazy when you feel like you were seeing so many of the mechanics of a different game just with a different skin. Maybe not necessarily lazy in how it was developed, but maybe just not as creative in execution as you would have wanted from a game that's going to use a franchise label like Marvel. As an Overwatch fan, Overwatch ripped off TF2, plus I hate Overwatch. Maybe some competition will make some players smarten up. Yeah, you're right to hate Overwatch now again, too. Like, Overwatch 2, again, that rollout of that game is something insane. Let's see. Is there any other game that I really wanted to talk about or mention, or should we just head into some of these demos? They did release like a Monster Hunter thing trailer there yesterday, but like I'll be honest, I don't really care about that. The Monster Hunter franchise I know is beloved and has its fans. I'm just not one of them. Not because I think the games are bad. That's just something that I never got into. Another game that I have on here that I don't even remember what this is. We're not gonna watch the Dynasty Warriors trailer because I just don't want to. This I don't even remember what the hell this was. This also is something that came out yesterday. I legitimately don't remember what this was supposed to be.
Stars.
I like those.
Shoots.
I like those too.
I have seen the miracles you so claim. Until the towering shadows vanished into the mist.
I pray for their grace, but all that came were inferior shades. Why do we have to bear the consequences of such power?
Time. War.
Okay,
Mortality.
I'm now remembering what pissed me off about this. I'm now remembering what made me upset about this. Because it looks, the graphic wise, it looks good. I do not like it when a bunch of words are just thrown in your face in a deep voice. Because that's like having the appearance of saying something deep without actually saying anything at all. I remember that's what was grating about it to me now.
Senses shall not fall into your treacherous hands.
Wayward emissaries, grant us the forgotten miracles. Rain
I do like the worlds that they're displaying here, though.
This desolate land needs a sprinkle of madness.
Remember, no matter what happens, we did not betray this world.
Now see, like, that's a fun line. I like that line. Okay, I remember why. What was kind of grating me about this. This one seemed like it's an issue of you're going to present at the same time as someone that got the same topic as you and did it better. Like, this feels very similar to the Where Winds Meet trailer, and the Where Winds Meet trailer is just a better version of this trailer. There's more gameplay interwoven into the Where Winds Meet trailer. The story told with the battle and the cinematic scenes actually felt better put together than the loose connection of words thrown together in this one. Both of the games look good graphically. Both of them look stunning. Because everything looks stunning nowadays. That's just what you can expect. But it was a moment of me being like, man, no hate to this game. I don't hate any of these games. I don't know. None of these have been out even a little bit yet to make that kind of assertion. But it is just unfortunately like I can't help but compare. I felt like you just showed me very similar games, and one of them did their trailer better. I think that's what was fighting against this for me. But yeah, so those were the things from the PlayStation Showcase. Again, it wasn't a great showing. It's pretty lackluster, all things considered. But there were still things I was excited for, obviously. Most of them, the most one being the one that everyone's for Astro Bot. It just looks really good. Infinity Nikki, also very excited for that. Both of the games are just like platformers. The very cute platforming games are the ones that I'm excited for. Surprising no one.